Okay, so everyone knows MrBeast, right? The guy who gives away private islands and stacks of cash like it's a normal Tuesday. But behind all those insane stunts, there's a story that very few people actually know. And it's not about luck. It's not about overnight success. Nope. It's a story about obsession. So you have this myth of MrBeast, the ultimate entertainer with a bottomless wallet. But the reality? Oh, that's way more interesting. Before any of that, he was just a kid in his bedroom, failing over and over and over again, totally fixated on one thing: cracking the YouTube code. To really get the legend we see today, the guy who gets the attention of literally hundreds of millions of people, we've got to go back, way back to the beginning, back to a quiet bedroom to meet the kid who started it all. Picture this. It's 2012. Jimmy Donaldson is just 13 years old. There are no film crews, no flashy sets, definitely no giant giveaways. It's just him, a pretty basic computer, and this burning curiosity. See, he wasn't really trying to get famous. He was trying to understand a system. He wanted to know how it really worked. And this right here is where the story shifts from just some kid with a hobby to something else entirely. Because his approach wasn't random. It wasn't about luck. He treated going viral like it was a science experiment. And you have to understand, this was a long, brutal process. For years, years, he uploaded video after video to pretty much nobody. He was making videos about Minecraft and Call of Duty, just like thousands of other kids. And they went nowhere. We're talking hundreds of uploads, hundreds of failed experiments. Honestly, most people would have quit after a few months. But Jimmy? Well, Jimmy wasn't most people. And he wasn't just guessing. No way. He was meticulously, obsessively analyzing every single variable you can think of. He'd have dozens of tabs open with viral videos, making spreadsheets, tracking everything: how long the intro was, how many cuts per minute, even the color saturation in the thumbnails. He was literally deconstructing success, one tiny data point at a time. And that is the fundamental difference. All his peers, they were making content for fun, to express themselves. Jimmy was on a mission. For him, YouTube wasn't just a hobby. It was this incredibly complex puzzle, and he was absolutely obsessed with finding the solution. So after 5 straight years of relentless failure and deep, deep analysis, something had to give. And that brings us to the one video that changed absolutely everything: his 40-hour breakthrough. So what was it? After all that time, after hundreds of videos that went nowhere, what was the idea that finally broke through? Was it some huge budget spectacular, a perfectly edited masterpiece, a hilarious comedy sketch? The answer was so much simpler and honestly so much more absurd than anyone could have possibly guessed. It was this. 100,000. In 2017, he uploaded a video of himself just counting. From 1 all the way to 100,000. A single take that took him over 40 hours to film. And that was the pure genius of it. It was so simple, so completely absurd, but you just couldn't look away. There were no special effects, no clever editing tricks. The entire hook of the video was just raw human endurance. It was a testament to pure, unfiltered effort, and people were captivated by it. And that one video went massively viral. It was the proof of concept he'd been desperately searching for 5 long years. He had finally cracked the code. And from that moment on, the path of his career, and you could argue YouTube itself, was changed forever. But here's the thing. Cracking the code was never the end goal. For Jimmy, getting attention was never just for the sake of attention. It was a currency. And the second he had it, he started thinking about how to spend it. This next chapter is all about turning clicks into real-world impact. He followed this brilliant 3-step process. First, he just completely mastered the system he'd unlocked, making bigger and crazier viral stunts. Second, he scaled up his reach by reinvesting every single dollar back into even bigger prizes. And then third, the most important step, he started to channel all of that attention, all of that revenue into a brand new mission. He turned his viral machine into a massive force for good. He used his platform to organize huge philanthropic projects, like Team Trees, which planted over 20 million trees. He funded the building of wells to get clean drinking water in Africa. He donated millions of meals all across America. The views became a vehicle for real change. And you know what's crazy? Even today, with all the success, all the philanthropy, his core motivation is exactly the same as it was when he was that kid in his room. He is still obsessed with just one thing: making the best videos possible. The impact is just a byproduct of that obsession with quality. So, what can we all take away from this incredible story? What's the formula here? And this really is the heart of his story. Jimmy Donaldson never ever set out to be famous. Fame was a consequence. It was never the goal. The goal was to master a craft, to understand a system so deeply that he could use it to create something truly meaningful. We can actually give it a name: purpose-driven obsession. It's not just about working hard, it's about this relentless, almost maniacal focus on getting better day in and day out, not for the applause, but for the actual effect you can ultimately have. And that's why this whole story matters so much, far beyond the world of YouTube. This is a blueprint. It's a story that shows how a single-minded focus, when you point it toward a purpose that's bigger than yourself, can create waves you never even thought were possible. So maybe that's the real lesson from the story of MrBeast. The world rewards people who are obsessed with getting better, not just with getting noticed. Focus on the craft, and the impact, well, that'll follow. So I'll leave you with this. What's your obsession?